Gamers, I got a rap for you, okay? I got a rap for you, gamers. I got a rap. Listen, I got a rap one more time. Just let me cook one more time, chat, okay? Gamers, we got a video buffet. Another reaction video cooked up homemade. The most miserable game he's ever played. The most sorriest clickbait since clickbait was ever made. I'll go into every video wanting to be swayed. But so hold your horses, boys. This could be well made. The surface level takes are what we all hate. But if we get a bit of that, we'd be eating fish fillet. Hey, chat. Heard you like your slop. The kind of takes that will make your head pop. I just one got the editors in the sweatshop. I've run out of rhymes, so I'm just ad-libbing. So, guys, I'm gonna stop the rapping. Let's watch the most miserable game I've ever played.
Super Mario Galaxy is definitely the game I was most looking forward to. I'd never played it before, and considering the fact that this game is way less popular than 64, there's way less chance for this game to be overrated. And it fucking turns out that I was wrong, because this game is pretty goddamn shit.
Oh, right from the rip. He's not even like, he's not even, because I was expecting the most miserable game I've ever played. He not like, he not like us. He not, okay, that's enough of that. I mean, like, I was expecting him to go like, oh, just clickbait, you know what I mean? And like, he just kind of doesn't like it. Ooh, hey, this could be spicy. This could be spicy. As always, guys, the rule applies. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice. Especially if you go to his comments, be nice, okay? Because he not like us, okay? We're nice over here. Trying to strike a chord and he's looking like a hater. Hang on, what was that? What does that text say? A miserable experience framed as its opposite. Okay, brother, you're leaning way too... Chapter 10? This guy's got like recurring... What did we miss? What did we miss in episode 1? Was there like... Was Virtual Oris in his comment section? Is that... Oh, all right. We got Saturn. We got Saturn over here.
Or sorta, I'll get into that later, but to be fair, it starts out pretty well with Mario going out to Peach's castle for a festival before Bowser comes in with the fucking spaceship and takes the entire castle away. It's a really good introduction scene and it's like a little playground to test out the controls and moves. He doesn't control...
I don't know, Warrior. You said most miserable game and it looks like you're having fun. I don't know, they not like... I don't know. Giving the game credit when you were being mean or before... I don't know, brother. That's a fine move I've ever seen.
Quite as well as in Mario Sunshine, but he has a new move to correct his...
And he likes Mario Sunshine. They not like us, gamers.
Like
they not like us.
Mode in Sunshine. The spin. Since this is the Wii, you gotta shake the remote to perform this move. I should note that I don't have a Wii. I'm playing this on something that isn't the Wii and something that I refuse to mention. But
emulation as well. Oh. Didn't even play on original hardware. They not like us. They not like us.
Using a regular Nintendo controller with no motion controls to play it, so I've mapped the X button to shaking the remote. And as much as I don't like motion controls in my games, it works pretty well here.
Oh,
it always responds to the remote shaking, and I never saw any problems with it. But yeah, while this is also an attack, the main way you'll be using it is to correct your jumps or to reach higher platforms, as it functions as a little boost for your jump. It works well and makes falling due to bad controls pretty rare. He also has a simplified...
Can I hear that again, please, Mr. Warrior?
Jump. It works well and makes falling due to bad controls pretty rare.
Makes falling due to bad controls rare? That implies that Mario Galaxy has bad controls in the first place. That the spin corrects, which... I would like it if you were to elaborate on that, Mr. Enthusiast. I'll be honest. I wouldn't say that Mario Galaxy has bad controls. Is this an Odyssey Central moment? I'm going to chalk it out to a misspeak, maybe? Very odd. I'm not going to harp on that too much. Let's continue.
He also has a simplified moveset. While this sounds bad, it typically isn't.
No,
Mario 64 had like a trillion different moves, and while that worked well enough for that game, they aren't all needed for this one considering the different level design quirks. Besides, half the moves in 64 you straight up won't use, so it's not much of a loss. As the name of the game implies, most of this adventure takes place in space, and I'm kinda mixed on it. It can look great, of course, but it can get stale eventually and you'll be begging for something different looking. The space aspect...
One more time, hang on.
This adventure takes place in space, and I'm kinda mixed on it. It can look great, of course, but it can get stale eventually and you'll be begging for something different looking.
Again, this is one I would love for you to elaborate on, because I've never felt like the space theming of Galaxy got boring to me. Like, that's one word I would not use. Boring. Like, do you know what I mean? Again, I would love it if you were to elaborate. You stopped playing before it got to 100. If anything, it got really, really creative in places, I would say. You know? So I'm just like, boring? Again, one to elaborate on, Mr. Warrior. I'll let you cook, though.
The space aspect also ties into gameplay, with cool planetary gravity shenanigans being the focal point of this adventure. A lot of people really like this, but I gotta be honest, I'm not a huge fan of it. First off, you can't really do much with the idea of planetary gravity. You may assume part of a level taking place on a sphere is different from a flat space, but it really isn't. You could easily just replicate the planet as a flat space and it would essentially stay the same, considering the planetary gravity changes almost nothing beyond how it looks. There's a few clever ideas with the mechanic like these gravity changing walls, but given that there's almost no versatility with the gravity idea, it really is just style over substance with this one.
Okay, this is what I would tell you, right? Even if you were to convince me, which maybe I've not really thought about it too much. I guess they don't really use the gravity aspect of space that much. Maybe I haven't really thought about it. I am replaying Galaxy, and I guess they didn't really use it too much. But when in regards to your take of it's actually just a circle, they flattened it. No, it's actually supposed to be. You could just make it all flat, but they just made it a circle. To which I would say, well, that's kind of point, really. Like the immersion of Mario Galaxy is that it's all planetary. So how do they sell you on the planetary aspect? They make it circular. Is it like a really cool defining part of the game design? I wouldn't say so, but it definitely gives Mario Galaxy its identity. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? It's one of those things where it's not a take that I would, because some of you guys were saying the take is bad. I wouldn't say the take was bad. It's just it comes across to me as a no joy, no whimsy type take. Does that make sense? Because I'm just like, of all the things to complain about, the fact that it's spherical, do you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit like, not the strongest, like, I think if you were to explain what makes the sphericalness boring, I suppose, or what maybe the kind of ideas you'd maybe like to put in over the kind of ideas that you would like to implement alongside the gravity shifting stuff, you know what I mean? Then I'd be like, okay, fair enough, I can see your take, but so far this just comes across to me as no joy, no whimsy. It's spherical, yeah, like what? Bro, he just likes his GameCube, not his Game Sphere. Do you know what I mean? He's a flat earther. Is that what it is? Do you think it's a flat earther? Yeah, it's just and planets are bad because you can't fall off the edge, which makes it bad in baby mode. He might be saying that, I don't know, but I don't want to interpret it like that. Bro asks people not to sing. Listen, I would normally tell the chat to be nice, but let me hear it one more time. Let's hear it just one more time, Jack. Hang on.
Essentially stayed the same, considering you may assume part of a level taking place on a sphere is different from a flat space, but it really isn't. You can easily just replicate the planet as a flat space and it would essentially stay the same, considering the planetary gravity changes almost nothing beyond how it looks. There's a few clever ideas with the mechanical like these gravity changing walls, but given that there's almost no versatility with the gravity idea, it really is just style over substance with this.
Yeah, this is definitely no joy, no whimsy, because it's like, are you technically wrong? No. Are you maybe even right? Yeah, probably. But it's not something I've ever heard the fact that it's the first time I've ever heard someone say that is like a bit indicative, you know. And I've heard a lot of criticism of Mario Galaxy, some which I'm hoping to hear and you elaborate on in this video, maybe some new ones, but that's new to me. Let's put it that way. That's very new to me. Bro says bad more. Okay, let's continue, chat. Let's continue.
It's also just disorienting sometimes. The controls can be really wonky when moving on the different sides of a planet. And
I would agree with this. Sometimes that's one thing I was hoping you'd mention. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes the controls can be a bit funny when you like go underneath a planet sometimes. So I agree with this actually.
Just generally weird, considering they could easily just flip the camera to Mario's rotation, but no, the game doesn't do that, and it's pretty obvious why. They just want it to look cool. I feel the biggest issue of the game.
But it does though. It does look really cool. Oh man, yeah, no joy, no whimsy. So far, I wouldn't say this video is bad. This hasn't had like a bad take yet, quote unquote. But it's definitely come across as no joy, no whimsy. You know what I mean? It's definitely coming across that way. But continue.
Is that it focuses way too much on making the player go, wow, that's fucking cool. That the game forgets to put any kind of effort into making the ideas and gimmicks involved executed well. Like in Freeze Flame.
I mean, chat, he's not being the no joy, no whimsy allegations. Jesus Christ. These holes on these platforms are basically glorified insta-kill blocks. Yes. But they look really cool and they're like in the theme of the level. If they wanted insta-kill blocks, they would have just done the Mega Man spikes. Does that make sense? Like, but they didn't. They had like a really cool way. They showed you this dark matter stuff, and then they implemented it in a cool way when the blocks move. Like, Yeah. No joy, no whimsy. The game doesn't need color. Yeah, it could have been made in black and white. You're right. You're right. We don't need color, gamers. We don't need it. Of course, it's Wario as well. They could have just flipped the camera. But yeah, when Mario Kart does that, folks get mad at it. You can't tell it's upside down. You can't please all the people all the time, can you, George? You just can't. You just can't, I'm afraid.
Any kind of effort into making the ideas and gimmicks involved executed well. Like in Freeze Flame Galaxy,
okay, we got example.
Ice flower.
We got
It's
example.
conceptually pretty cool, allowing you to skate quickly over ice. But that's all it does, and it rarely benefits the player other than allowing them to move across lava. But that benefit is barely anything, considering it's only put to use with 1 star. Even if it's a little fun to use, it's kind of a waste given not only is it used once, but it's not really something to just help with the star. It's only a requirement. Or the fire.
I would say this is probably like one of the strongest arguments you could say against Galaxy. I would say it's really, really annoying that a lot of the power-ups do not get as much use as I'd like. Ice Mario, was it? You get this Galaxy, you get like the Secret Star and Beach Bowl, and I'm just like, I wish each power-up had like at least 5 or 6 galaxies to their name, you know? Like, was it Boo Mario only gets like what? The tutorial and like the race? It gets a tutorial race, and then it's one level where you can choose that or be Mario, and that's it. I think that's it. So I'm just like, man, it's a bit disappointing, I would say. Galaxies definitely improved on like letting you use them a lot more, you know? So I would say this is fair. I agree. The guy comes across as someone who really cares more about the design fundamentals than anything else. Not a bad perspective, but a bit skewed from where I understand it. A little bit. Let's let him continue. So far, again, he hasn't had a bad take yet. He just hates your goat, and that's why you're hating him, chat. Be nice, okay?
Flower, which I can argue is executed.
When it's time to clown, I'll let you know, alright?
It works almost the exact same as the 2D counterpart, allowing you to shoot fireballs. The only difference here is that it's temporary, like most other 3D Mario power-ups. But Nintendo kind of forgot to add anything that helps you aim it, which is fine in 2D, but it's extremely detrimental in 3D given there's an entire third dimension and a camera you gotta deal with.
Not a bad point, but your footage the power of editing did not help him here, chat. Look. Oh, it's really hard to aim, is it? Hang on, let's have a look at this again.
But Nintendo kind of forgot to add anything that helps you aim it, which is fine in 2D, but it's extremely detrimental in 3D given there's an entire third...
You took 3 fireballs to hit 2 of them. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't... At least you could have pretended to like throw them really badly, you know what I mean? It didn't really help you too hard, though. I'm gonna be honest. Didn't really help.
Dimension and the camera.
I do agree. Sometimes it can be hard to aim, but like, yeah, it didn't really help yourself there, Mr. Wario, I'll be honest.
To deal with. They could have easily given it a lock-on feature or at least given it a crosshair. But as it stands, this is a really shitty execution of a power-up. I guess it's...
I think really shitty is exaggerated. I think it could have been implemented better is probably how you want to phrase that. I wouldn't say it's shitty. I would definitely agree with that.
I'm talking about a power-up, I might as well...
So when I suck at Galaxy, it's a skill. Listen, George, I'm telling you, you need to stick a crosshair in the middle of your screen if you're having difficulty with Sling Pod Galaxy, okay? That's all I'm telling you. That's all I'm telling you, okay?
Talk about the rest.
That's what I'm
They kind of suck. Not that they're bad on their own, they all, well, most of them anyway, have cool ideas around them. But my issue with them is that the game will only have a few select sections of the game that are built around that power-up, and the power-up is only used there as opposed to throughout the entire game. This is an inherently bad approach to power-up design. As if a player really likes a power-up, they'll obviously be disappointed that they can't use it outside of the situations where it's meant to be used. But I guess I should talk about the power-ups themselves. The bee mushroom is the most...
I wouldn't say I was disappointed that I couldn't use the power-ups outside of the places where they were supposed to be used. I was just annoyed that they didn't use them enough. Like, Boo Mario being in a Haunted Mansion Galaxy. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Why don't you make more Haunted Mountain Galaxies so that I could do more? You know, that's what I'm saying, you know? You think he'd would say the same thing about Astrobot's power-ups? That'd be an interesting question to ask him, because I would say Astrobot does the power-ups really, really, really well. I would say so. They could have done some more with that, sure, but I think the overall Bowser's Fury handles traditional power-ups best. It strikes the perfect balance between having to be versatile and special. Yeah, I would say so. I agree. I agree with that comment.
And it's pretty cool. Much like the hover mode from Sunshine, the bee mushroom can make you hover, but unlike the hover mode, the bee mushroom is actively used for elevation. You can also climb on honeycomb walls. This is a pretty great power-up, and my only real complaint is that you can't use long jumps or side flips while you have it. Long jumps are pretty essential for movement in this game, and replacing it with just a standard jump is really unsatisfying. Still though, I wish this was used more throughout the game. The Boo mushroom transforms Mario into, well, a Boo. In this form he can float indefinitely and go through caged walls, but if he...
I will say, Wario, if you do not mention that you could rizz up the other Boos as Boo Mario, this video is bad and I will dislike. I'm gonna give you a heads up right now, okay? One of the funniest parts of this power-up is you can rizz up other boos, and that's really, really funny to me, okay?
He touches any lights, he turns back to normal. This is a really cool power-up, and you could 100% form a ton of cool puzzles around it, but as it stands, I believe it's only used in the ghost level, which really sucks considering, again, it has so much potential. I think going forward, 3D Mario
didn't even mention it. Video sucks. Video sucks, Wario. Re-uploads.
games should avoid this formula because it just limits the potential of power-ups with not much benefit.
Daybot, brother. You're crashing out. Daybot, the crash out of Daybot has to be studied, okay? Calm down, brother. Calm down.
There is one power-up.
Calm down, soldier. Calm down, soldier.
Levels though, because it's really not good at all. The spring mushroom. It makes you constantly jump very slowly, and if you press
right, guys, round up. Spring Mario bad. Spring Mario bad, guys. Spring Mario bad. I agree. I agree with the take. Therefore, it's a good one.
Not only is this not that creative, it's really annoying to use too, considering you can only move while airborne. So you just stop moving every time you touch the ground. It's pretty obnoxious. What's worse is that there's absolutely no creative ideas you could come up with around this power-up. I think the power-up would be better off if you could hover in the air for a few seconds by holding A. But
actually, I disagree. There's a lot of like cool, like if anything, you're showing one of the cool bits that you can only really do with Spring Mario, like the vertical segments. In fact, this level I would say has a really interesting boss with the Spring Mario. The fact that you have to jump up to like this, there's like that Monty Mole tank thing shooting things at you. And you have to like jump up and then like ground pound him. But like if you take too long aligning yourself, then like you end up throwing you off. I would say it's a cool implementation of Spring Mario. It's definitely done better in Galaxy 2, I think. Spring Mario as a whole, most power-ups are done better in that game, in all honesty. But Spring Mario is probably one of the ones that actually gets utilized well in the levels that they use. I'd say utilized the best in the levels that have them. You know, I would say so, even if it does kind of suck.
As it is now, the power-up just sucks and has no potential whatsoever. But honestly, outside of the use of the power-ups in the levels themselves, the level designs are pretty good for the most part. Never stellar, it doesn't go much beyond good, but it's never flat out shit either. They're also filled with creative set pieces like this worm for Gusty Garden Galaxy, or this giant 8-bit Mario and Toy Time Galaxy. But the best part of the levels is how you access them, through the hub world, the Comet Observatory. I really fucking love this place, it's really cozy and pretty with all the lights and decorations.
I thought it was the most miserable game you've ever played, Wario. Lying. Me when I lie.
I also really like the different sections. They add a lot of flavor, like the grassy area being sort of a mini park, or the library area being a sort of open chill area, or even down to this little...
And what's that? Mister, just watch your 64 tier list. Never diss my Frappe Snowland again like that, or things will happen to you. Go. I'm gonna get a vine boom ready for you. You know what I need you to do? Whatever your name, what's your name? Number one Yanderberg fan. Do you know what you need to do? Go drink a cup of hot orange juice. That's what you need to do. Get out of here.
The average player wouldn't even notice. These little rooms that hold the different worlds are really nice too, with my only real complaint being that they all have the same shape and size. But they look really nice and comfortable, with my favorite being the kitchen. They also have this big screen that displays a map of the observatory, but I like to imagine they watch movies here too. You know what is Rosalie's favorite movie anyway? I feel like it's Ratatouille. I also just like the idea of there being almost no walls other than the library and the world select rooms. The vast emptiness of space adds to it a lot, and I feel like the place wouldn't be nearly as memorable without it. But yeah, I fucking love this place, and I'd love to see it return as a hub world someday.
If only it did in Mario Galaxy 2. That's why Galaxy 2 sucks. Never understood Spring Mario hate. It could just be me about all of my favorite power-ups. I think it's just any power-up that takes control away from you is always going to inherently be divisive. Sorry, I almost pronounced that correctly. It's always going to be a bit divisive. It's just like inherently. I think that's just a fact of reality. Any power that takes agency from you is always going to be, scrutinized. And in Spring Mario's case, I would say it's a little justified, I'm going to be honest.
So functions well too. The last two games, especially Mario 64, had a problem with some of the levels being a chore to reach. Every world here is really accessible without needing to get a certain power up or do some tricky platforming. But honestly, it says a ton about the game itself that hanging out here and exploring is like 10 times more fun than most of the actual game.
What? Yeah? Damn, bro. Crazy. So far, it's just no joy, no whimsy, and big, bold, crazy statements. That's so far what this video has been.
See, the game is pretty fun for like the first world.
Bro, really does say bad morning. It
starts to get really, really boring. Like boring to the point where I was considering turning off the game, and so far I've only done that for the lost levels. But I stuck.
And these are lost levels? Bruv, they're not like us. They're not like us, man. Good lord, I can't believe that. That's unbelievable, lad.
Stuck it out to the end, and you know what? I'm kind of glad I did, because it proves for me fucking levels. But I stuck it out to the end, and you know what? I'm kind of glad I did, because it proves for me fucking tenfold that the game doesn't get good again until the very end. The more I played the game, the more I wanted to rip my fucking hair out. It's so boring. It gets super fucking repetitive after the good stuff, and a large part of that has to do with the fucking atrocious padding. It was pretty obvious.
Okay. That is a big statement. This is probably where so far this video has just been no joy, no whimsy, big bold statements that I can't really dissect because he's just saying things, right? And I don't really care to dissect him because it's boring. This is where we might get somewhere interesting gamers. Because if you ask me, I'm currently replaying almost every Galaxy to like, but the ranking I'm eventually going to do, which is slow going because I've been working way too much. But what I will say is when he says the game is boring, there's one argument, I'm not going to say it just yet, I'll hold it close to my chest. But there's one thing he could say where I'm like, okay, I can kind of buy that. When he says there's padding though, I'm like, what are you talking about? Because all you need is 60 stars. Because like in most Galaxy, one thing that I really love about Galaxy, and the same with like all the 3D Marios generally, is you can pick and choose which galaxies you want to play, right? Like if you really liked Freeze Flame, you could do all the stars of Freeze Flame. But if you really didn't like Ghosty Galaxy, you could just get the 1 star and just move on, right? So if anything, you get to choose the pace. Do you go for every star, or do you just collect the ones that you need and like move on to the next? It's literally, you handcraft your own experience in a way. Obviously, some are level gated, of course, but like you get to choose. Like, oh, if you need 4 stars to reach the Bowser boss, you could choose which 4 stars do you go for. Do you go Good Egg Galaxy 3 times and Honey Hive once? Do you go Good Egg twice, Honey Hive twice? Or do you go Good Egg and then, oh, there's flip switches unlocked. You see what I mean? Like, that's what I love about Galaxy. When you say padding, you have to be very careful. Listen up, guys. Here we go. Who might have the first genuinely bad take of the video? I'll let him cook. We'll round it.
And a large part of that has to do with the fucking atrocious padding. It was pretty obvious that they were padding the game out with Mario Sunshine, but it's even more obvious here, and it's so much more annoying. See, the star requirements for extra levels and worlds almost never become intrusive. It's at the end when the game gets really carried away with it. Once you unlock World 5, the second last world, the game shows you how many stars you need to reach the last level, which isn't in any given world. For people who really like this game, this number wouldn't be that high considering they probably got all the stars from many of the previous levels, but for a normal person like me who just wants to beat the game as soon as possible, the amount of stars you'll need at that very moment isn't 8 or 12, it's like 25. Yes,
that's a you issue. That is genuinely a you issue. I cannot believe that's your argument. So because you wanted to get end the game as quick as possible, the game stopped you. Like, hang on, correct me, chat. Isn't like the amount of stars you need to reach the end in 64 Sunshine and Galaxy pretty much the same, right? If I'm not mistaken. It's not like Galaxy had like, oh, you need 80 to reach the end, but like Galaxy 64 and Sunshines were like 40. Does that make sense? I think, aren't they all like very similar to one another? In 64 it's 70. What about Sunshine? We need to VAR check. We need to debunk him live. In 64 it's 70, 49 in Sunshine, and then what about in this game? How much is it in this time? How much is it in this one? I could just look up myself, but you guys do it. It's 60? So it's like about what you'd expect. So 60 in this game, 70 is 64, and then 40. So it's literally about what you would expect. It's not like this game, again, fair argument if, say, this game demands 100 stars of you for your first playthrough. Fair take. But because you wanted to beat the game as soon as possible because you weren't having fun, in which case, don't play the game. What? Why did you force yourself? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Guys, he fell for the calamitous opinion that a lot of people seem to have, which is you need to be able to finish a game. Because I know what he's going to say. I know what he'd say to me if he heard me say this. But how would I be able to review the game if I didn't finish it? You can review a game you didn't finish. You absolutely can. In fact, that would probably make your opinion have a bit more like value to it, because you're reviewing a game that you said is miserable, and it was so miserable you couldn't beat it. That's fascinating. I want to know what the fuck happened. You know what I mean? Like, what happened in a game that most of us absolutely consider like one of the pinnacles of video games, and you couldn't finish it? If anything, that's a way better hook than the most miserable game I've ever played. You could have titled a game so bad it didn't finish. So if you're thinking about it in ruthless businessman mode, one, that would have been a much better hook. And two, from one critic to another, you don't have to finish a thing to review it. You 100% don't have to, and I believe, and it just makes sense. your review is still has value to it. Some people might disregard it. Oh, you didn't even finish the game. But you could easily say, is that not a condemnation of? Does it not bolster how horrible the game was and the experience was to me? If anything, that bolsters your take, brother, warrior. The game wanted me to play more game, therefore. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! No! Strange game. Strange. He's not like us. That's all I gotta say. He's not like us.
You fucking heard me right. You essentially have to double your star count, meaning you not only have to get every star in World 5, you have to get like 16 more stars after that. Meaning you have to play boring ass levels just to get some more boring ass stars and feel unsatisfied with your purchase by the end of the game. So
You didn't buy it! You didn't! You didn't even buy it! What? Who's purchasing? You're a pirate, matey! You didn't buy it! And yeah, I know he meant your purchasing, you the viewer, but like, ironic. They're not like us. They're not like us, brother. You didn't even buy it. He did his parents, but no, he pirated it. He literally said at the beginning he pirated it. So you didn't even waste your money. Oh no. Oh no, warrior.
who the fuck cares at this point? No, what's the number? 26!
What did you get? What did you break? What did you? Hang on, can we hear that again? Gamers, listen. Losing a Counter-Strike game that went to like 20 rounds, I get it. Losing a ranked match when you're one game off that rank that you've been crying for, I get it. Going to buy some Pokemon cards and seeing scalpers got them all, I get it. Mario Galaxy, one of the greatest games generally by most audiences would consider one of the greatest games ever delivered to us. And the game said you had to play more game, and you like either kicked or shoved or broke something. Is this Demetrius Fury? Is that what this is? Is this Wario's Fury? Brother. Should have kept this out of the script, brother. You should have kept this out of the editor. That's what I'm saying. This makes you seem way more unhinged than you intended. Oh man, he actually is Wario, isn't he? I can't believe this. Now my statement, hang on, what's the statement? What did you say? What did you say, Wisdom Spirit? Or is absolutely a Wario hater? He kind of is, isn't he? He kind of is. Hang on. I kind of disagree. Mostly if you criticize the story, then... Well, yeah, like, there are some exceptions to the rule. Obviously, you know, you can find some exceptions as a rule, but generally speaking, you don't have to finish a game to critique it, I would say. Generally. Thank you for the 5. Don't get this guy to play Gen 1 Pokemon. He needs to get levels to beat the game, or any RPG in general. Oh, let's continue. Yeah, where's the light? Oh. There's more?
26 fucking stars.
26 stab wounds!
Even the bosses aren't that great. They could have been the only saving grace of this game, but most of them are forgettable at best. As with New Super Mario Bros, I'm only going to be talking about the bosses I've actually done. I'm not going to go back to play more of the game just to fight bosses that might not even be that good. Also, I'll skip some of the bosses that aren't too interesting to talk about. Dino Piranha is the first boss, and he's got this weird rock thing on his tail. You gotta get behind him and hit it back into him. It's not even the best concept, but it's dumbfoundingly easy. I know it's the tutorial boss, but you could have made it a little harder.
Boo! You literally just said it. It's the tutorial boss. Boo!
Caliente is way better. He sits in lava and shoots coconuts and fire rocks at Mario. And
Me when the first boss is
back into him. It starts off pretty simple, but he eventually starts doing this back and forth type thing, and it's pretty fun. Not great and all, but it's a great concept that can be improved upon. Bugger Boom isn't that good though, which is disappointing considering I quite like Honey Hive Galaxy. You're gonna use Mario to climb on these honey walls and Grand Panda when he passes by. It's not even that good of an idea considering how simple it is, but they further fucked it up by making the timing surprisingly precise in that last hit. He moves far too fast there. I can say this.
Oh, sorry, that one was too hard. But Dino Piranha was too. Oh, make it. Oh, it's like 527 all over again, isn't it? Oh. Oh man.
Mega Leg, the first Bowser Jr. boss, though he's not really that much of a boss.
I like Mega Leg. Mega Leg is like, is it the most difficult? No, but it's a fun. You climb up a fucking anything that reminds me of Shadow of the Colossus. I will be there no matter what.
And there's more of a puzzle. You gotta climb up his legs and onto his head where bullet bills shoot at. You gotta guide these bullet bills to the caged walls on the top of his head, and after that you need to guide another bullet bill to the cage the star is trapped in. It's a cool idea, but it's way too easy to pull up considering the caged walls don't move that fast. Top Maniac, despite having a cool design, really fails.
Okay, Top Maniac sucks. Top Maniac 100% sucks.
Deliver on the cool concept. You're gonna
Top Maniac actually like
tracks the
sucks.
blades
I'll
on
give
the
him
outside of
this
the
is
body,
fine.
and after that you can whack him into the electricity on the outside. Repeat that 3 times and he's dead, but it's almost mindlessly easy. His only real defenses are these 3 mini versions that do nothing but knock you back, and you can take them out really easily. It's just pointless. Poltergeist is alright.
Bro, Poltergeist the GOAT. Poltergeist the GOAT, brother. Come on. Come on.
He shoots rocks and brings spikes up from the
but
ground.
Poltergeist,
Some of these rocks he
again,
shoots on these
it's such a fun
that
fight.
you gotta whack back into him for a hit. It would have been decent, but he has a second phase after 4 hits that just gives him a new attack, and that's basically it. It just drags on for way too long.
Drags on! No! No joy, no... Say it with me, guys. No joy, no whimsy. Bro! Just swinging something around and just whacking something with it. It's just like a fucking carnal joy. That's like when the joy. It's like how do I describe it? It's like a monkey brain level joy. Do you know what I mean? Just spinning something and just whacking it at someone. There's just something really fun about that. So having to do it, and then his second phase, he has arms that like guard him essentially. Like you have to wait till like he does the slam move to get a clean hit. You can hit him, and then there's the element of you can get some early hits in, but you have to like angle the bomb really tight, you know? Because sometimes you might want to wait till he does that, then hit him with the bombs. But sometimes you can hit him just a brother, you know what I mean? Like there's like the fun of the fight is not only the concept being interesting, the attack method being really cool, but it's just like swinging, just the swinging stuff is just really fun. Like there's just really something really fun about that. I don't know, Boris, but he does kind of drag on. No, what? No, he doesn't. Just get good. You're wrong, Zozim. You're wrong. You're wrong, Zozim.
Still a pretty decent idea, which is what I can't say for Bowser Jr. He's basically just an advanced version of Carmella where you have to fire green shells at him. I do think it is better because he shoots cannonballs, but he could have separated himself more from Carmella. He does turn his ship forward on the last hit, making it so that the Bowser face shoots fireballs, but also makes the ship slightly harder to hit. It's a cool addition, but he's still not that great. Same with Baron Burr. He's an ice cube guy and he perfectly shows off how underwhelming the fire flower is. You gotta get the ice flower to skate over to the water and climb up to him. After that you wait for him to ground pound and then hit him twice to get a hit. He's just really, really easy.
I do wish he was a little harder. I like Baron Burr as a concept, but I just wish he was a tiny bit harder, especially considering what is Freeze Flame Galaxy. By this point, you know the rules. Like, it should be a bit harder than this, I would say.
He has like 2 attacks and they're really fucking easy to avoid. He's just a waste of time. Alright, finally, a good boss again. Although much like Mega Leg, Mecha Bowser is much less of a boss than he is.
Hang on, chat. Can we go snooping?
A good boss again. Although much like
Hang on. Did I just... Oh, no, I did see it, chat. Hang on, give me a second.
Finally, a good boss again. Although much like Mega Leg.
Oh, no, where'd it go? There, oh, chat. Snoop. That's a Snoop Dogg. What does he have? Steam Dolphin! Oh, Dolphin. Yeah, Citra? Oh no! What's happening here? He's got his spoofy. He's got a snipping tool. Oh no! He's got stream. I think that's Streamlabs, isn't it? Not sure what this one is. What's the M? What's the M here? Gamers? What's this? What's this he's got? Oh my god! There's so many apps. Opera. He's an opera man. Okay. Fairs. Oh no! Nintendo's coming to you. You said you wouldn't even name it. Is that Melon DS? Melon? How many Brother, that's unreal. Brother's never seen original hardware in his life. Oh my lord, what's happening here, lads? Jesus Christ. Listen, I love me some emulators, don't get me wrong. But like, listen, come on, man. OG hardware, brother. OG hardware. You could never get an Isabelle faceplate on your new Nintendo 3DS emulator. That's what I'm saying. Brother.
Mecha Bowser is much less of a boss than he is an objective. You gotta screw these screws in to get to the next section, where you have to unscrew these bolts to remove this wall and go into this pipe. Then you gotta climb on this arm that moves around and unscrew this bolt to get to the final section, and here you gotta use Then you gotta climb his arm that moves around and unscrew this bolt to get to the final section, and here you gotta use the spring mushroom across this bridge, and go up here to ground pound these stone blocks to get the star. It's a super fun gauntlet of little challenges, but I do have to complain about one thing. This final part with the spring mushroom is clearly built around the spring's weakness of being slow, considering that directly in front of the bridge is this canyon you gotta avoid despite how slow you are. But over here, there's literally just a spring mushroom right after the bridge part, and it just ignores how it was built around the spring's slow movement. Why? I mean, it doesn't matter that much considering the rest of the boss is really good and it's a small segment, but given how underutilized the spring mushroom is, it'd be good to get something that makes use of it. But
That's
still,
true.
it's a really
fair.
good boss and it certainly deserves some credit.
True.
And I think the only boss that beats him in terms of quality has gotta be Bowser. He's a really great boss, so good that I don't even mind the repeat fights. He jumps in the air to create shockwave rings, and you gotta dodge those. He'll occasionally do this stomp attack, and you gotta lure him into doing it on these glass towers to set his tail on fire.
Hang on one second, I got to refresh because I want the time bar.
Super Mario Galaxy.
Oh no! Why wouldn't you give me my time? Where was my timestamp at? Good lord! Oh, I think we're on Bowser. Because like one thing that's a bit disappointing me with this video, I would say, is you said you made it very, very clear. Padding, level design doesn't get interesting. What I would have liked is if you did like a section like this, where like you, because obviously you're analyzing like every boss, and you've been doing it for like about like 4 minutes of your video. Which, I mean, in all fairness, I don't think any of us are really like hardcore defending the bosses of the Galaxy, are we? Like, I really like Bouldergeist, Buggaboom. I think he didn't really give too much credit to. Top Maniac is shit. Mega Leg, No Joy, No Whims. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll happily give you all the bosses. Right? I don't think any of us are particularly married to them. It's the levels that I think that would be much more interesting to talk about. Because you said there was too much padding and it was bland. So which galaxies that you played were like I would have loved a section like this, but about the levels, you know? I would have much more enjoyed it about that, because I think most of us agree the bosses aren't like, it's Mario, and they never particularly do bosses, but you're not like fucking breaking new ground there, brother, you know what I mean? You know, like, is it disappointing? Of course it is, but I would have loved you to do it about the levels. Like, you telling me you played Freeze Flame, like Hot and Cold Collide, and you thought that was mid or something? I guess there's too many to talk about. He doesn't have to talk about all of them. He could have just highlighted like 4 or 5, been like, oh, I like this in concept, but like it got really bland. Or like 3 or 4 galaxies, which were like, I liked it started, but then it just got bland, or it didn't take his ideas further. And that would have been way better, because then I could have I have the galaxies fresh in my mind because I've been playing the game, so it would have been really cool to be able to go through it with you. And there's one galaxy that I replayed that didn't really compel me as much as I thought it would. It's like Sea Slide, for example. Like, that could have been something. If you would have talked about Sea Slide, I would have been like, oh, okay, fair. I would have got you there. But if you talked about something like Dreadnought, I'd have been like, you know, like, so it would have been interesting, but it's a shame. I'll let you continue, though.
The good boss, and even better once the final confrontation rolls around. He has 3 different phases for the final battle. And the first one, rather than hitting the glass spots, he rolls into a boulder. You gotta hit his head specifically, since hitting anything else doesn't do any damage. In the next one, he shoots fireballs and simply rolls into a ball himself, and you gotta hit these green balloon things into him to make him start spinning. And the final one is just fantastic. It's a combination of the ball rolling, the fireballs, and the first confrontation with the glass spots to make an almost perfect finale. The only issue I have with this fight is that it's just a bit too easy. The fight itself is moderately difficult, but you can get health refills in the form of coins the entire way through. Still though, it's a brilliant fight and probably the best in the series. It's also really climactic, as the final phase takes place in an orb of lava, which is sick. This is all really enhanced by the music. It is fucking fantastic and makes the game feel 10 times more climactic than it would have been otherwise. But I gotta say though, the level does not at all live up to the boss. And it's funny because it's like the best level into the game too, at least top 3. It's a really fun level, but it's not climactic enough. The song, while done well, doesn't feel like finality as much as it should be, and the level itself is just really short, around 2, maybe 3 minutes in length. It's still really fun, but fails at setting the stage for what's to come, and that song is especially disappointing. And it's weird. I would have, again, do you see that, gamers? Do you see that? You spent all this time analyzing the bosses, but when he finally talks about a level, like, it didn't feel like a proper build-up. The music wasn't that good. Like, maybe you could have analyzed it second, like, you could... Oh, you're teasing us! Why are you edging us, bro? What the hell was that?
Why do you do this? But for the bosses, everyone agrees the bosses are kind of for the most part. Why do you do this for the? Oh no, brother. But like this section here, at least from memory, because I've not really played the final level in a while, but I remember this section being really cool. And like the bit with like the blocks, you know, like the appearing blocks were kind of cool. That was fucking cool. So I'm just like, it was like a mini gauntlet, which is, I think, a perfect cap end to what Galaxy does really well. Like Galaxy was all about like mini challenges for like a good chunk of the levels. Unlike maybe other Mario games that take like one concept and kind of like expound upon it a lot. Galaxy's very good at like just doing like really small, shorter set pieces. So I'm just like, is there something fundamental that game design you didn't like? Was there something about the level itself that wasn't as compelling as you might like? Was it not hard enough for final level standards? Or is it maybe, or is it a case of maybe you were too? I don't know. Like, there's so much you could have talked. No. Oh, I feel edged to get gamers. It doesn't feel good. I got blue bollocks, mate.
Itself is just really short, around 2, maybe 3 minutes in length. It's still really fun, but fails at setting the stage for what's to come, and that song is especially disappointing.
I feel like it doesn't really have a reason to dislike the levels, hence it doesn't expand on them. But then it just makes the concept of his video even more baffling to me. Because if you're saying the most miserable game you've ever played, now bearing in mind, again, this isn't him baiting for the algorithm. At the beginning, he reinforced, yeah, this game is, look, a miserable experience framed as his opposite. So I'm thinking, what's going on here, lads? You know? And then you give us like zero analysis of the levels except padding? But then you give us like 5 minutes of... You complain about the game padding, but you padded this video with boss analysis that everyone generally agrees with, that Mario bosses are not that good. Brother. Warrior enthusiast? Certified enthusiast? Certified loser. That's what I gotta say. God damn. And
it's weird too, because the soundtrack for this game is fantastic, like objectively the best so far. It's fully orchestrated with violins and trumpets and shit. It's really good and feels like an actual journey across the universe. Highlights for me include the Star Festival, Space Junk Galaxy, and of course the Comet Observatory theme. But after the Bowser fight, the game is done, and wow, what a mess that was. While I had a ton of praise for the game, it doesn't excuse the fact that over half the game is obscenely boring. And the game—
Which half? Which half of the game is boring? Because like, again, when I do my Galaxy ranking, guys, I'm telling you, there are some stars which I'm just like, the game has really high highs, but some of the ones I'm just like, when I'm playing the games and analyzing, there were definitely some I was like, so he could do this. I believe that he could convince you guys that some of the levels were boring. That's what's annoying me about this. Because when I talk about this game, there are some galaxies that I'm going to tell you guys, they're not as good as you remember them being. Some of them are fantastic. Don't get me wrong, there's a good chunk of them that are fantastic. But some of them are just like, what's all this then, huh? You know? You could have done this. You could have made the video live up to the title, right? That's what's annoying me. Oh no! Our video is broken. You could have talked about Nasty Tunes. You could have, like, even Space Junk has like 1 or 2 where I'm like, could have done maybe a bit more. I don't want to talk about it too much because obviously I'm making a video. But like, again, there's so many where you could have been like, but like, man, Warrior, man, I'm disappointed. But thank you for the 5, though. MFD Gamer, his first ever super chat. Far too kind. Yo, this is a hella weird video on Wii U stock that claims that Wii U's better than Switch 2. I don't, listen, submit a ticket, brother. I appreciate the 5, but if you want me to react to a video, you got to post in the Discord, and then maybe I'll pick it up, okay? I'm not really in the business of, you know, donos for videos. That's just not something I'm interested in. But thank you for the money. I do appreciate it. Let's finish up this, though.
It's just a mess of poor decisions and execution masked with great visuals. Luckily, the game ends really well, with Mario and Peach reuniting, Bowser fucking dying, saying goodbye to the Luma that gave him the spin ability, and the universe being reconstructed with all your past foes there to celebrate. It's a really good ending to this, not gonna lie, pretty shit game, all things considered.
That's what's... It's not that you called this game shit, Warrior Enthusiast, that's annoying me. In fact, I don't really care if you called this game shit. I would just humbly disagree, but I don't really care. I don't think on a single part of this you've done well, I want to say a single. There were like a couple of small tidbits where I'm like, okay, I get it, that kind of sucks, you're right. But like, I would say at least 13 out of the 15-minute runtime I've been watching so far has just been either you just making superlative statements that your video can't cash in, or no joy, no whimsy. And I'm just like, oh no. I wouldn't even say this video is bad. I'm just left wanting. That's the worst bit. Because like if your boss analysis was anything to go by, you're very capable of analyzing a video game. So why don't you do that for the levels that were bland or the levels that felt like padding to you? But instead, you were just annoyed that their game wanted you to play more game, when on average it's like about what you'd expect from a Mario game. Again, if it was like 100 stars, you had to get in fair. But I'm like, no, it's 60. It's just bait. I wouldn't say this was bait. I feel like he's being earnest, but the title is definitely a check his mouth can't deliver 100%. Such a shame. Honestly, Wario enthusiast, such a shame.
There's a lot of positives to count, but at the end of the day, there's too many really big negatives to count, and I kind of hate it as a result.
Is it?
Again, a whole lot of positives, but at the end of the day, all of those are outweighed by my biggest problem. Remember when I said the level design was pretty good? I was mostly lying. In the first world and the first half of the second world, yeah, the shit's nice, but soon you'll realize how empty the levels get.
Okay, you have... How long do you have? You have... about 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds. Brother, this could have been the whole video. Oh, hang on. Let him cook.
And I think these parts of the game are hurt by the choice to add the planetary gravity. The planetary gravity could definitely be used for cool puzzles, sure, but not only is it not used in a unique way for a lot of the time,
examples,
it exists as a large crunch for the empty levels. Because in reality, if you took my idea from near the beginning of this video and made all the levels flat, it'd be especially noticeable that something was off about the levels. However, keeping the levels with the spherical planet shaped allows the level designers to be a lot lazy with the levels themselves.
What do you mean lazy? That's a big word. You gotta back it up.
That is by far my biggest issue with the game. Mario Galaxy is going just in between Mario 64 and Sunshine for now. Its start is just good enough to just in between Mario 64 and Sunshine.
Mario 64 and... Oh, lost it. He's gonna put this in F tier. Despite saying, hang on, gamers, can we go back a bit? He's gonna put this game in F tier, gamers. And bearing in mind, this is what he said.
A lot of positives to count, but at the end of the day, there's too many really big negatives to count. And I kind of...
I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm not gonna lie, chat. Especially after seeing this tier list at the end, I didn't want to say it. I actually really didn't want to say it, but I think JD might have been right. I think this might have been bait, and I don't even like saying that neither, because to say it's bait discounts your entire analysis, which I think was fair in places. But I'm just like, F tier, despite you saying there was a lot of good things about it. F tier, and despite you not even trying to, and that's the saddest bit, gamers. He didn't even sell me. No point did I felt like he made any sort of like, this is why I think, here's the examples, here's why I think, blah, 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 you know? It was just, you kept just saying superlative statements. You said things that were like really just made it seem like no joy, no whimsy. Again, when you say the levels were circular, they could have been flat, it's like, I suppose, but it's called Mario Galaxy, it's a planetary adventure, so it makes sense that they're all circles. So it's just no joy, no whimsy, you know? Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, thank you, KJO, for the 4. He hates the game because... Do you know what? You guys made that joke at the beginning. I genuinely thought, hey, stop being mean, okay? We're going to go into this video in earnest, but... If this list is anything to go by, I think he just prefers 2D Mario. I think he just prefers 2D Mario, honestly. Which is very strange. Very, very, very strange.
Just in between Mario 64 and Sunshine for now. Its start is just good enough to inch it slightly above Mario Sunshine for me.
Oh, so it's detail,
okay. Those points are way, way worse than Mario 64's.
I would have loved to have heard those low points, but you didn't even... Unless I'm... Chat, be honest, please be honest with me. I don't know if I'm missing something. But this, I don't think for this entire runtime... Again, what's it? It was... Sometimes the planetary... circular nature of the planets can make the controls glitch out a bit. Agree. Not enough to make it D tier, but like in some places, true. Fire Mario didn't have a crosshair. Again, true, but I think the hitbox was generous enough. And since you don't use it a lot, it doesn't become enough of a pain point. B Mario, I'm not really that sold on B Mario, but again, not nearly enough to put on F tier. The overall point of the power-ups not being utilized as well. I agree with that point. It is not nearly as prevalent enough for me to put it anywhere near F tier, though. You said the Comet Observatory was good. You didn't even say it was bad. You said it was good. So if anything, that immediately stops from being D tier. Then you mentioned the padding. Didn't elaborate on it whatsoever. That was like your biggest point. and you didn't elaborate on it whatsoever, right? Which is extremely shocking. Then you went on a boss ramble, which was good analysis, but I'm like, no one here is arguing, chat. No one here is arguing that the majority of the bosses in this game are just... No one here is disagreeing with that. I love Boulder, guys. The final Bowser fight is pretty cool, but for the most part, and obviously Major Borrow's going, will never be forgotten in my life, but yeah, for the most part, I could probably leave the bosses away. And that was your entire analysis. What is good? And you put that in what? The bottom of D? Bottom of D tier, I think? Good lord, brother. Good lord. I'm not even angry. I'm genuinely not even. I'm not even just saying that to be like snarky. I've not got a single iota of anger in me right now. But I am beyond disappointed. A video like this is me salivating. Someone thinking that one of my favorite games ever made is shit. Oh, brother, that's like a steak dinner for me. Give me the analysis, brother. But it was just no joy, no whimsy, and points that were not elaborated on. Oh, I'm sad, chat. I'm just sad. This is a sad song moment. You stayed up for this as well. It's 1 a.m. We stayed up for this, Warrior Enthusiast. Brother.
Was points. I'm starting to get worried again. These 3D games that everyone seems to like are consistently becoming my least favorites. Let's hope the next 3D game fares better, but for now, I think it's time we enter the corporate era. I'm gonna be so drained by the end of this, but for now, I think we gotta move on to the next game.
Brother. Have you maybe considered that 3D Mario isn't for you? Is that maybe something you've considered? Because if you've played 3 games of 3D Mario and you didn't like any of them, is that everything? Yeah, I think that's everything. Oh man, was the Wii the corporate era? I hated that. Yeah, I was gonna say I got that from your video, but honestly, I don't think I did. I'm gonna be honest, Warrior Enthusiast. I don't think I did. Oh, and also, I didn't think I'd ever say. I didn't think I'd have to say that I saw someone ripping off Pariah's thumbnails. Would you mind not ripping off Pariah's thumbnails, please? I know thumbnails are hard. Stop ripping his thumbnails. You're just putting red on them. If you think if I put a filter on mine, do you think? Oh, hang on. Oh, this is. Oh yes, I'm invisible, Musty. This is totally original from real Musty. Yes, I'm invisible. Call me Invisimusty gamers. Like, yeah, give her own shtick, little gub. Give her own shtick. Right, that's enough of that. I would say a good time was had by all, but what, Mr. Elsty? That's probably the best thing I've seen today, in all honesty. It is a shame. To end it with some compliments, because I don't want to end it on just like clowning on the guy. I think your overall presentation was fine. You know, you have a good mic. I think it was edited quite well. I think there were some places where it probably could have used a bit more better editing to like get your points across. I would say your writing is what lets you down, definitely, because you even if you came to me and said the title was actually clickbait, Musty, your entire video you kept accentuating the fact, especially right from the rip as well. Right from the rip, you accentuate the fact that this video is going to be like this big takedown of Galaxy, and you just didn't sell it to me. I'm going to be honest. Even though I love this game, I would happily have put my love aside if you analyzed it to the finer degree I appreciate, but you got some work to do, brother, okay? You're at 364 subs. No big issue. Your journey is just beginning. But get good, brother, okay? Get good, little gap, okay? You're not there yet, okay? You're not there yet. You'll be there soon, but you're not there yet. Gamers, go dark. What do you guys think? Have you guys got anything nice to say before we look at the comments? Have you guys got anything nice you want to add as a bit of a finale note? Hang on. Look at the comments. No. He just came across as a rage gamer who wants to be different. Definitely a little bit, 100%. His thing is liking Wario. Wario had good virtual board games, so it makes sense. No, I get what he's going for, but it just looks like a Pariah knockoff to me, I'm gonna be honest. Again, I would never review RPGs as a guy who doesn't get into RPGs, so why is he viewing 3D Mario and he clearly hates it? Yeah, it's not even me. It's not even you doing the point of don't like it, don't play it. But like you've literally played. Look at the tier list again, guys. Look at my lawyer. I'm getting fired. Where is it? There it is. Look, Sunshine 64 and Galaxy are down here. Brother. That's crazy. It's actually insanity. Just stop playing them. It's very odd because, you know, I'm not too crazy about 3D Mario myself, but even I would put Galaxy in at least A tier. And that's Zozim as well. You know what I like about Zozim? Zozim is like the good cop. You know how I said Arlo's the good cop and I'm the bad cop? Zozim is this community's good cop. And even Zozim, I'm not gonna lie, brother, even Zozim ain't fucking with you, okay? They're not like us. They're not like us. Let's go in the comments real quick before we wrap this up. There we go. Then again, just as a disclaimer, chat, if I click newest first and I see any of you guys being mean to him, I will ban you from every community I own, okay? Heads up. So be careful if you're going to leave him a comment, all right? Constructive criticism only. Oh, man! The top comment already? Already? Oh, no. Hooked. And he hearted as well. The cope. He gave the cope heart. Brother. Although, to be honest, it's like a double-edged sword, isn't it? If he hearts it, he looks like he's coping. But if he doesn't, it looks like he's avoiding criticism. Do you know what I mean? You can't win. You genuinely can't win. It's either cope heart or avoiding criticism. And he went with the cope heart. This video breaks my heart, and I hate it more than you hate Galaxy. What was his reply? And your apology... Like, actually minus a million aura. Oh, that's gross. Wario, you met... Oh, that's actually... That's unbelievable. That's actually unbelievable. You went through the bother of playing this game, sitting down to write a script, analyzing it. You refined your opinion to the finest point that you think you could, and you're apologizing. You're apologizing. What was the point of even making the video if you're just gonna apologize? Why would you apologize for something you genuinely believe in? Unless you don't believe it, and it's not helping the bait allegation. This does not help the bait allegations, Warren. I'm just letting you know. Because you would only apologize if you were baiting. I would never apologize for a take I've had unless I was baiting, you know? Then maybe I would. Even then I wouldn't, because it's funny. Maybe he doesn't like Mario Stand Collect Fun. Listen, why don't you say that in the video? Why do you have to get your comments to defend you? If anything, this is one of my pet peeves, gamers. It's when people make a take, and then you have to get the comments to play interpreter for you. The comments can, and sometimes, you know, your biggest fans will play interpreter for you. I think a good example for me is, I remember my Nintendo Land VODs. There was somebody who said, like, there was obviously someone who was a lot younger, because you could just tell from the way he was commenting, which is like, but Musty, you're being so mean. You're a factory as well, huh? Yeah. And then obviously people in the comments are rightfully saying the videos are transformative. They're fair use, right? But like, that's somebody, like, you know, stating a case in my comments where, like, it's very clear what my videos are, you know what I mean? I've made it very clear it's fair use in terms of I'm reacting. So when people in the comments, you know, come to my defense, so to speak, it makes sense. I make it as clear. But when you never said this in your video, though. That's what makes it confusing to me. You should have said this in your video. I don't like this, so I'm going into this video with the perspective of someone who doesn't like it. That would have made this way more palatable. Oh no, no. Oh, hang on. I like Mario Odyssey in 3D world, if you can consider I collect them. I just found a lot of people who praise these games overlook criticisms, even if they're a critic. Or maybe they acknowledge the criticism but still love the game nonetheless. Have you ever considered that, Wario? Like, don't get me wrong. Some critics probably do this. There's probably some people in my chat who probably do this. But, yeah. Some of the power-ups aren't as utilized as good as they can be. Some of the bosses aren't really as compelling as they could be. But the overall level design is fantastic in this game. Oh, man. Oh, man. Heading is insane, brother. That's what I'm saying. Her name checks out. Bro, I don't think you like Mario games. I play on the Final franchise, but I just don't like 64 Sunshine Odyssey at all. I diagnose you of not liking 3D games. What do you like then? Odyssey? Yeah. Oh, man. But to be fair, he didn't sound like he was 14. Was the bass on his microphone really that crazy? Shit. Okay. Well, I think that might I diagnose you with being young then. That's what I diagnose you with. I mean, for a 14-year-old, it's gonna sound extremely condescending. Listen, for a 14, I could never have put a video this well together as a 14-year-old. I'll say it like that. That sounds way less condescending. If I was 14, I would not have been able to put a video like this together. So, you know, well done for that. I think you still got a lot to learn, young man. You still got a lot to learn. But, you know, not bad. Not bad. the Jack the Ripper of Nintendo commentator. Guys, first I'm Simon Cowell, now I'm Jack the Ripper. Was nice. I felt like I was nice this whole time, right, chat? I think the one take I was maybe a bit peeved at was his padding take, you know? But that was a genuinely shit point that you had to elaborate on, young man. I shouldn't swear. You are a young man after all. I shouldn't swear. I was nice this time. Wait till I comment, watch something else that I'm maybe a bit mean to, and then we'll talk about it. I hate that as a big Galaxy offender. Not even a defender, an offender. It's probably the worst analysis I've seen because it's blowing over things I genuinely critique out of proportion, over-exaggerates my own criticism where I feel like I'm choking on opinions I want to agree with and stand by, which is absolutely abysmal when, again, I've been saying a lot of these arguments from... Oh, that's even worse. That's even worse. When you bump into a video that you're supposed to be like, yes, yes, finally, a video that agrees with me, and it turns out you're just like, hey, yo, I'm not with him, I'm not with him. What does he reply? What do you not like about the review? Yeah, I mean, if you're asking me, I think I've already said it. You made big checks that your video couldn't deliver, unfortunately. So I would say work on that a bit. Is there any more comments you replied to? I was, for the most part, a pretty big fan of 3D Land. He's definitely not beating the young allegations. Definitely not beating them. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there, Mario Enthusiast. Oh, sorry, Wario Enthusiast. Listen, you've got plenty of time to learn. Honestly, I'm not even kidding. If these are the kind of videos you make when you're 14, by the time you're 20, you're going to be a fucking expert at this. I'm going to be honest. So what I would say is, a bit of a misstep. If you ask me personally, I don't think there's some things that could have done better. You could have done better. Overall, good job. Good job, okay? You did good, kids. You did good. Really, Ruffles hair. You did good, kid. You did good. Let's move on before I become even more condescending.